Hi guys, Mr. Biter coming to you.
Mr. Ebser here.
Mr. Ebser, have you ever gone on a long bike ride?
I have, yeah. It's really nice, especially it's almost the season here with the weather turning for that.
I know. So they have these. They have the. I don't know if you've ever ridden on a rails to trails.
I have, yeah. I have one near my house.
Oh, do you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, there were railroads across this country just before there were roads. So they just put railroads everywhere. When the railroads first started building up in the 1800s, they were putting railroads everywhere. And they were putting them in some of the most amazing places. They had to go across these massive ravines and through these canyons, and sometimes through mountains. They would have to, carve tunnels through mountains. And we don't use all those railroads anymore. So what they've started to do is they've started to turn a lot of those railroads into bike trails because it's already flattened out. All they have to do is pull the rails out and the old rail lines and things like that, and then just kind of crush gravel on top, and they make them amazing bike paths. So there's one particular one that we're going to sing a song about called the Kettle Valley Line, and it's up in British Columbia. So some of the places you might know up in British Columbia, Vancouver. So Vancouver is way over on the west coast, up in Canada, and the Kettle Valley Line went from Vancouver to the interior of British Columbia, and that land is incredible up there. Beautiful valleys and high mountains, and so when they put the Kettle Valley Line in, they had to put these bridges, big wooden bridges across all the ravines. Well, they've turned it into a rail trail. So we're going to sing a song about the Kettle Valley Line, and I'm going to teach you a little xylophone part that we'll be able to do in school when you get there. But it'll help if you watch the video and you practice a sort of coordinated thing that goes along with this, okay? So first I'm just going to kind of sing it to you, ready? It goes, I always ride upon the roof on the Kettle Valley Line. Now that sounds ridiculously dangerous, and I'm sure it was.
But up on the roof of the train.
In the early 1900s, you could get away with anything. I feel like riding on the roof. If you had the beautiful views on the railroad, I'm sure it was an amazing place to sit. So, I always ride upon the roof on the Kettle Valley Line. I always ride upon the roof. I could ride inside, but what's the use? So I always ride up on the roof on the Kettle Valley Line. And so that's kind of the simple first verse of the song. It talks a little bit about how beautiful the views would have been. So what we're going to do is we're going to play kind of the background music for it. So let's sing it through a couple times. I always ride upon the roof on the Kettle Valley Line. I always ride up on the roof. I could ride inside, but what's the use? So I always ride up on the roof on the Kettle Valley Line. So you can see what we're playing. Mr. Ebser is kind of playing the bass notes that go along with this. And I'm playing the same chords as he is. Now a chord is a 3-note collection that makes the background music in a song. But I'm doing something particular. I'm playing with 3 mallets at the same time. You can see that my right hand, or my left hand, but what will be your right hand, is never moving. And I'm just playing 8th notes. Like dum, 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 dum. I'm just playing 8th notes on that the whole time, right? And then I'm playing quarter notes over here. But the quarter notes move. I'm doing 2 separated notes, so A and C to G and B, and they just move back and forth like that. But I have to be able to do those 8th notes and those quarter notes at the same time. So let's sing the song with this and see what it sounds like. I always ride up on the roof on the Kettle Valley Line. I always ride up on the roof. I could ride inside, but what's the use? So I always ride up on the roof on the Kettle Valley Line. Can you keep playing that for me? I'm going to show you what it's going to look like as you practice it. I'm going to get the 8th notes going with my right hand over here. If you could do that with me. Just kind of keep those 8th notes. I'm going to do the quarter notes just like Mr. Ebser is doing, but I'm going to move inside, outside, inside, outside. I always ride up on the roof on the Kettle Valley Line. I always ride up on the roof. I could ride inside, but what's the use? So I always ride up on the roof on the Kettle Valley Line. So if you can get a chance to practice doing that, all you have to do is do faster notes over here. 8th notes, like 1 and 2 and 3. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then just go 1, 2, 3, 4. Put that together and you have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Then when you come to music class, we'll get you 3 mallets in your hands and you'll be playing it in no time. I always ride up on the roof on the Kettle Valley line. I always ride up on the roof. I can ride inside, but what's the use? So I always ride up on the roof on the Kettle Valley line. Thanks, guys. We'll see you in music class.